Life is an obscure hobo bumming a ride on the omnibus of art.
Hello and welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews.
I love me some Dick Miller.
And I'm Gary, and today we're going to review and discuss A Bucket of Blood, which released in 1959 from writers Charles B. Griffith and directed by Roger Corman. Ian, why don't you give us the synopsis?
Well, the story follows Dick Miller playing Walter Paisley. He works at a small cafe that serves a bunch of artists and drunks that come in. While there, he wants to be part of that scene and wants to be joined in with all of those different types of people, but he's just not artistic enough. Until he starts to get some clay, and then he starts to get some victims, and then he mixes the clay and the victims together to make great pieces of art. Will the other artists realize what's going on?
Did you see my cat?
What's the matter? You losing?
So American International Pictures, they wanted a low-budget horror film. And they knew that they only had a little bit to work with. And in stepped Roger Corman. He was like, I'll take it. Roger Corman, I mean, he was no stranger to the film industry. At this point, he'd already directed like 20 films.
Wow.
In the last 2 years. As you know, Roger Corman has left a legacy of being able to make 100 films a year.
Yeah,
You know?
on $100.
Right? And, I mean, he wrote books on it. He's absolute veteran in the industry, but at this point he was like, what's the budget? 50,000, and you want this shot in 5 days. He was like, I'll take that challenge.
Okay.
And him and the co-writer, they spent a day coming up with a concept.
Yeah.
And they wrote it in this less amount of time, shot it in 5 days, and then boom, out it went.
Wow.
And even though this may have only just been, I guess, maybe a bookmark in Roger Corman's career.
Yeah.
This was, well, for many, an introduction to Dick Miller.
Yes.
Playing Walter Paisley. And this man, he is no stranger to cinema. If you watch this channel, you've probably seen him pop up several times in our review history.
That's it. Yeah.
Gremlins.
Yeah.
Terminator. Demon Knight.
Yeah.
Chopping Mall. Howling. And just to coincide that in The Howling, Dick Miller plays Walter Paisley. In Chopping Mall, Dick Miller plays Walter Paisley.
Holy shit.
And in this film was the first film to christen him actually Walter Paisley. And apparently throughout his career he's either played bit parts called Walter or Paisley.
The gun guy in the store, I reckon, is called Walter.
Probably is, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Man, like, every Christmas, old WWII, you know, stumbling out that bar, Dick Miller, you know, drunk as a skunk, warning us about those gremlins in our cars. I'm like, oh my God, the guy just, he's got a voice, he's got a look. And for some reason, for this film, like it's in black and white. But I imagined him just looking exactly like how I've seen him like in the 80s and 90s. You know? I know he's like 40 years younger, but I'm like, no, the guy literally hasn't changed that much.
No.
You know, and it's just, I love the style of this movie. Like, we're talking, 1959, we're almost into the 60s. But there was this whole kind of strange, weird, underground jazz kind of artistic vibe going on where...
Yeah, you're talking about the Beatniks.
Yeah, the Beatniks.
And this film is almost a satirical deconstruction of the Beatniks by taking the mick out of them. If you don't know what the Beatniks are, they're kind of like a countercultural youth movement going up against the mainstream, essentially. And Corman and Griffith actually went around like Sunset Boulevard and just took notice of all of the rise of these beatniks and were like, let's listen to how they talk, listen to what they're talking about, and then let's parody them.
But this is the thing, I know it was a parody and I know it's satirical and I know that maybe I'm not the sharpest tool in the toolbox, so I miss these kind of things. But for me as well, they saw it real, so they wrote it and then that's portrayed. But what you're seeing is kind of what youths will continue to do in many generational different forms.
Even though the film is heavily dated, it's also not.
It's you'll see this, people hanging out in coffee shops and just drinking coffee,
Pretentiously talking about their art.
yeah, not wanting to go work for the man, and then picking on the little worker guy. But then at the same time, when the worker guy gets some money behind them, they fucking leap onto the bandwagon and say this is the newest greatest thing. I mean, the guy Maxwell who stands on the stage at the beginning of the movie and he's just doing like a poem or like a sonnet.
Free-form poem,
A free-form poem. Now, like I said, I'm not the greatest artistic man, and I'm listening to this guy go, oh, fuck me. You know, he is drolling on.
It's because it's so monotone.
Yeah, but it's kind of supposed to be like that. You know, he's delivering this to you. So when you actually do listen to the words, there's little hints of the script or what's going to happen into the film in the words. And Walter, as he's walking around waitering all the people in the cafe, picks up on these little bits and he tries to get himself involved in certain conversations as he's going around. He's really nice. Everybody loves him. Everybody likes him because he's quite simple.
Well, except his boss.
Oh, Leonard,
who's always yelling at him and telling him to stop talking to the artist and go and clean some more tables.
Well, dude, that's any boss. If you're standing around not doing the work,
that's also his job.
yeah.
But he is an aspiring artist, and so you're like, okay, and so it does feel like he is kind of looked down upon by his peers.
Yeah, totally.
And so you immediately empathize with him because you're like, he is quite an innocent, simple man.
Yes.
And so he felt relatable, and I empathized with him.
Yeah.
He's just about gone.
Walter has a clear mind. One day something will enter it, feel lonely, and leave again.
Too much.
And we've got Antony Carbone playing Leonard DeSantis, who is the owner of the cafe. And
what's it called? The Yellow Doors?
The Yellow Door. I thought that was a really great name, you know, behind the Yellow Door. And I also liked as well the set. Like, we had the inside of the cafe, which was quite a wide open set, so we could see everything and people could get up on stage. And then as they went out the door, it would cut to like an outside shot where they just had like a Yellow Door sign.
Yeah.
And you were like, wow, this is actual place.
Yeah. Well, there's literally like 2 locations in the entire film, which is the Yellow Doors coffee pub and Walter's home or his apartment and the landing outside. There's a few shots in the streets, but 90% of the film, it's in either of those 2 locations. And you're like, but it never feels stale, and the film never outdoes its welcome, especially as it's only 65 minutes long.
Yeah. Like we said, Walter's boss has a girlfriend, or at least a female partner, Carla, played by Barboura Morris. And, you know, I felt like her and Leonard were in a relationship, but you know, the film never shows it to the point where they're actually holding hands, kissing, telling each other they love each other. They're just close. Walter really fancies Carla. And so he wants to do something great to be able to get with her. And he's finished at the cafe. He's kind of been laughed at and put down by a few of the people there. And he wanders home and he sees his landlady, Mrs. Swickert. You know, which I looked in the notes and it turns out that she's the grandmother to Charles Griffith, the writer.
Oh, really?
So every time he wrote scripts and stuff for Corman, he'd also try to write her a little role.
Right.
Because she was like a radio host doing a show back in the 1940s and had like a whole career. So he tried to take care of her. And even her here, like, she's just the landlady to Walter. But at first, she's kind of looking out for him, but then at the same time, she does seem a bit overbearing because she's worried about what he's going to do. But she's looking for her cat, and she can't find him. And so Walter goes into his apartment, and he tries to make himself some soup, while he also opens up his clay, and you can hear the cat meowing. And I love this whole sequence because he's trying to get the clay to work. And he wants to make it into a nose.
Yeah, you're a nose.
You're a nose.
You're a nose.
And he gets more and more angry. And
because the cat's making so much noise, you're like, God damn it.
Yeah, but I could relate to that because I'm no good with clay and it takes ages. You can't just do it overnight. It takes years of practice. And he gets more and more infuriated. And then when he stands up, he bangs his head on the light.
Right.
He burns his soup. And then he's annoyed because the cat is stuck in the wall and he's going to try and have to get it out.
So goes and grabs a knife, which kind of wobbles on the wall. It's like, wobble. But eventually he puts the knife through the wall and the cat stops complaining.
Yeah. Yeah.
He killed the cat. Oh,
Yeah.
no. Well, I mean, the cat that he pulled out looked like it'd been dead for at least a week. So the one that was meowing earlier, I don't know where, maybe that one got away.
I liked it, though. The editing of the sound and the whole scene made me feel like Walter was being pushed, which obviously I was getting from Dick Miller. And then, he's got the body of the cat and the knife sticking out of it. And he has no idea what he's going to do. Everybody's going to be mad at him. So he goes to bed and he'll deal with it in the morning. Next morning he wakes up and he's still unsure what to do. But he hears the words from Maxwell's opening kind of free poem where he says like, that their deaths will be like clay in his hand. And that's what pushes him to cover the entire cat in clay and turn it into a model so that he can take it back to the Yellow Door. Because in the Yellow Door, they show art and they can sell art. So if he can put something on there, he'll be an artist. It's the fact he leaves the knife in the fucking cat.
The guy says, well, you get a bit carried away there, didn't you, Walter? Well, yeah. What? It's not as horrific as the sculptures from, like, Mrs. Dietz in Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
But you're looking at it like, who in the world finds that impressive? And they're like, well, look at the anatomy. He's very precise.
Well, because they think he's molded himself when literally he's just rubbed clay over the dead body of a cat and just gone, here you go.
So considering Carla's quite impressed with it, the owner is just like, well, we'll put it on display in the back corner.
Yeah.
And if it gets some interest, maybe we'll split the interest. But until then, get back to work, Walter.
Yeah. And Leonard is a little bit jealous because people are kind of impressed by his model work. You know, obviously Carla's attention is now being shown towards Walter. But we'd also been introduced to Art and Lou, who we realise are undercover police officers. And they keep turning up at the Yellow Door to try to find anybody who's selling drugs or dope or anything. I mean, there's a girl who's just willingly giving away heroin. Like it was free back in 1959. Oh my Jesus. Christiana F. should have moved there. Should have got loans.
Is that the same lady that comes running up to Walter as he's leaving? Just like, no, take me with you.
Yeah,
take me somewhere blue and gas me.
Yeah, oh, just love me, make love to me. No? Oh, okay, well, here's my heroin.
Well, she doesn't say that, but she's just like, take this with you. And so Walter takes that home.
Yeah.
But it's before that. I'm like, what did she say to him?
Walter, you've done something to me. Something deep down inside of my prana.
I have?
Can you just play that back again?
Walter, you've done something to me. Something deep down inside of my prana.
Did she refer to her vagina as a piranha?
I believe so, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's a first.
Yeah, the sequence with Naholia, like, that's all I got, because Walter repeated her name like 3 times to the police officer, because after she's thrown herself at him and he's turned her down, because obviously he wants to be with Carla, and she's gifted him her heroin, which he doesn't realise what it is he puts in his pocket.
He's like, it's for headaches.
He heads home and he's followed by Lou. Now, we'd realised they were undercover cops, him and Art, because they'd gone out the Yellow Door and they make these phone calls to the police and they tell them about this information. And so Lou follows Walter home and confronts him and says, like, what's this? What's this jar? This is heroin. And Walter's like, I didn't know what it was. She gave it to me. I've never seen this thing before. And just like the situation with the cat, he's absolutely innocent in the whole situation. He's being pushed.
Yeah, I mean, he's been set up and now he's being pushed and now he's being threatened because the police officer's pulling the gun out.
Yeah.
He's like, do I have to aim this at you, Walter? Walter all the while is still holding his frying pan. He was about to cook some
Pancakes, yeah.
Right? And so he feels threatened and it escalates, and before the gun can be pointed at him, he bops the officer on the head with the frying pan.
Yeah.
And when it's in the next shot, when it's dripping blood, I was like, oh.
That was such a great shot.
Yeah.
I mean, because I didn't know where he'd hid the body, because the landlady had come up to the door, knocked, and Walter had made a bunch of noise, and then she comes in, and he's all worried because she's going to find something. I thought the body was underneath the sheet.
Right.
And she's like, you need to tidy this place up. He's like, yeah, I will. And he kicks her out. And then he sits down, and Walter, you know, Dick Miller, is unsure what he's going to do. And the arm drops into shot. And it just drips blood. But just out of shot, you can just hear the blood dripping.
Yeah.
And it's where he comes up with the idea of, Was it they said to him in the yellow door? They were like, "Oh, go home and make another cat."
And he says, "Well, I haven't got another cat." Look, he's just honest. He's just saying, "I don't have another one."
So, but then he realizes when he's suddenly he's like, "Oh, I have another cat." And so then he goes back to the yellow door the next day and he confronts Leonard and Carla and he says, "Look, you should come back and you should see my new work." And Leonard at this point had accidentally knocked the cat off its side and wanted it to smash. But when it had broken, he'd realized there was fur inside it. And he was going to call the police. But one of the patrons who had come to the yellow door had realized that this work of art was so great, was willing on spending loads of money on it. And so Leonard was distracted by the idea of money, selling this stuff for Walter. And so he doesn't call the police. But the fact he now knows that when Leonard says, "Oh, you should come back and see my new piece." Oh, what's it called? Murdered Man.
Could you be any more obvious? But it's the grand unveiling, pulling back the sheet.
Yeah.
And you just like, that is monstrous.
I'm like, I don't know art. I've said this, I'm no Van Gogh or whatever, but I'm fairly certain when you put clay over a dead person's face, their eyes don't shine through, like fully detailed, like
bulging.
Yeah, it's like he's clayed it and then he's purposely put the effects in on top of it after what he's saying. Like Leonard,
He just falls into his chair in horror because he knows. And Carla's like, "It's amazing. It's horrific. I don't really want to look at it, but it's amazing."
And Leonard's just like, "Walter, I like you, and technically I'm helping you, but you cannot make any more, statues. No more clay stuff. Nothing. Just stop." And Walter's like, "Oh, really?" He doesn't get it. He doesn't get what he's really doing. But he turns up at the yellow door, dressed with his little scarf and his cigarette and his hat, like he's part of the scene now.
Right.
He's working with the group. I absolutely love those two drunk guys.
Yes. There was a moment going on where somebody was talking for ages, probably Maxwell.
Yeah.
And one guy's like, "What was he talking about?" He was like, "I don't know. I was wasted." It's like, what?
Marvelous, darling, marvelous.
Man, like that was the greatest gas I ever heard.
Crazy, what did he say? Didn't you hear him? No, man, I'm too far out.
I'm out there, man.
Yeah,
I'm like,
right.
whatever these two guys on, I kind of would like stop.
There was another moment later where it was similar, and he was like, "I don't know, man, I might have to start drinking." And I think the actor was about to break and start laughing, but it edits right after. Like, oh.
They were just so good because they were like 1959 Jay and Silent Bob, if Silent Bob talked. Yeah. But everybody is just impressed with Walter when he walks in.
Well, except for the model or the actress
Alice.
that sat there,
Yes.
Alice. He's like, "Well, if you're such a good sculptor, do something with this." And he just flattens this cake into her hand and goes, "Made a hand." She's like, "That's ridiculous. It's nothing."
It was great because she'd become what the other patrons had been at the beginning, putting Walter down. But now Walter's got a status and kind of, I don't know, power because he'd killed. He just looks at her and he's like, "I don't like you." And she's like, "Well, I don't like you either." And immediately I just knew that she was going to be the next victim. The first two ones were kind of accidents or self-defense. But this one, Walter was going to purposely go out of his way.
Yeah.
And so when the yellow door closed, he leaves angrily, but he waits outside for the yellow door to close and then Alice to come out, and he follows her home and he confronts her. And at first he's like, "Look, I'm really sorry. I wanted to apologize." She's like, "Get out of here. I don't want anything to do with you." And he's like, "Okay," biting his tongue, "I've decided I'm going to want you. I want to make a statue out of you. Come back to my place tonight. I want to work with you." And she's like, "Okay." And I thought this was another great shot as well because they go back to his apartment and Alice, the girl, I mean, she's a 50s blonde bombshell. She's
Right.
gorgeous looking, like she's Marilyn Monroe's clone or whatever. And she starts undressing in the little kitchen while Walter's getting his clay ready. And he's just getting ready to fucking murder her. But the way the shadow worked with her undressing and you not having to see it.
Yeah, well, very tastefully done, yeah.
Thought that was just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and then you get the reverse shot once she sat in the chair.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
No side boob or anything.
Nothing. It was tastefully done. Like, on set would have been something completely different. But the fact, like you said, Roger Corman is trying to film this. He doesn't want it to get an R rating. He can't spend thousands of dollars on whatnot of different shots. So he just uses the shadow work to emphasize that she's undressed naked. She's sitting there. And Walter just gets her scarf around her neck and goes, oh, tighten this. And she goes, and then he strangles her.
Yeah, and again, the edit is pretty quick because we see the strangulation, but the camera's panning up straight away. So we don't even get to see her panicked or her strain or the horror in her face for more than a second before we focus in on Walter, who now I'm like, he's entered a state of complete madness. Like, the sympathy or empathy you have with him is completely gone as he's just become a stone cold murderer. In pursuit of his art.
Yeah. And so the next day he goes to the artist's house while they're all having breakfast, and he asks Maxwell what he's having, and Maxwell deconstructs and breaks down this stupid fucking whatever amazingly healthy, organic, non-complacent, against society, communism is dead kind of breakfast. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's eggs.
Man, he's so full of himself.
Hi, Walter. What brings you here?
Have some breakfast, man. What are you having?
Soy and wheat germ pancakes, organic guava nectar, calcium lactate and tomato juice, and garbanzo omelets sprinkled with smoked yeast. Join us?
No, thanks.
Well, he's a poet, isn't he? But Walter says, like, look, can you guys give me a hand because I want you to show you my new work. And he brings it in, and there's this statue of Alice, but they don't realize it's Alice.
I mean, come on.
But none of them liked Alice. They probably wouldn't care that she disappeared. But they're just enthralled by her work. They just, by Walter's work. They just think it's absolutely amazing. And once again, Leonard is kind of still in a bit of shock.
Yeah, that this is all happening to him as well.
Yeah, but he wants to put on a showcase. He wants to do a load of, Walter's work for everybody to see. They decide to throw a party for Walter at the cafe. Leonard is happy about this. They're wanting to obviously think about putting on a big show. Walter's sitting in a throne with a crown on his head. Getting absolutely drunk on champagne.
What's it? Is it Leonard who keeps telling him, like, no more clay, you need to go freeform.
Yes.
You need to go freeform now.
Yeah.
And Maxwell's like, no, stop shackling him with your freeform nonsense.
Yeah, that's it, because none of them realise that Leonard knows the truth, that all of Walter's fucking models are fucking dead people. And he gets so drunk.
It's just because it's just come to me again.
Yeah.
Just like some of the random dialogue in the film where Walter's walking through the cafe and he turns and he goes, "Did you see my cat?" And he's like, "No, did you lose it?" And then Walter just walks off, and you're like, it's not laugh out loud funny, but it's just those little comedic moments you just like just sprinkled in throughout the whole film. Like, it's quite a punchy little script.
Yeah. But Walter leaves the yellow door drunk. He's stumbling home and he's thinking about his next load of work. He needs to do something. He was told that
he's afraid that if he doesn't do anything, he'll be forgotten.
He'll be forgotten. Yeah, repetition is death. He's got to keep moving up and doing different things. And so he happens to come across this carpenter who's working with one of those giant wood saw things, and he's drunk. And he starts speaking like some poetry to the guy, and the guy's like, "What are you talking about?" And they start to fight. But then Walter purposely pushes the guy down and uses the saw to decapitate him. Now, you don't see it, but what you get is the classic zoom in on the saw and the scream of the guy. And then the next morning, Walter walks up to the yellow door to meet Leonard. And he's like, "I've got something new to show you." And I loved how it did it, where he's reaching into the bag for what he's going for. And Leonard hears the paper boy talking about how there was an attack at the wood mill and parts of the man's body was missing.
He was sawn in half.
Yeah, and he turns back and Walter's like, "Look, I made a bust of this guy's head."
Leonard? What's the matter, Leonard?
You made a bust.
Fucking Leonard is freaking at this point. Like, my fucking waiter has purposely murdered a guy and fucking encased his head in
I was
clay.
displaying here That's okay, because now we're going to put it all on show.
Yes.
We're going to have a big party. Lots of investors and buyers are coming around.
Yeah.
And you're just like, all of those exhibits, those clay exhibits are atrocious. But that's the film poking fun, not just at the beatniks, but by the wealthy elitists that think they're highbrow buying this street trash, essentially, and going, look at the value of this.
But that's the thing that made me laugh, because when you look at the two drunk guys who are trying to get an espresso, they're the major patrons of this place. They're the real customers. But you want the rich people to invest.
Yeah.
You know, and even if the rich people think it's great or think it's shit, you don't care. You want their money. And the blissful ignorance of Walter, because he doesn't realize what he's doing is so wrong, because everybody is telling him that it's all so great.
Right.
Other than Leonard, who's absolutely freaking out.
He's still trying to cash in on this as well. But it's then Carla who is examining the Alice sculpture and realizes that her fingers are a little bit more tactile than clay.
But before that, it had been set up where Walter and Carla had walked to the cafe together. And like we said, Walter's had feelings for Carla throughout the movie. And he says to her, I'd really, really love to marry you. You know, I love you. And
freaks Carla out quite a bit.
Yeah, because she only ever sees him as a friend. And she just doesn't want to be like that with him, which really upsets Walter and really puts it in his mind that now he's going to fucking offer and turn her into a clay model as well.
Well, he's like, well, maybe if I can't have you in marriage, maybe I can turn you into a sculpture. And she's like, well, okay, I'm down with that.
Yeah, but you're like, he's going to fucking kill her. He's going to murder her. And it, like Gary said, it's when she's touching the Alice model that she realizes that there's a body underneath all that clay. And she confronts Walter with that information, and he goes, "Yeah, of course there is."
Like, didn't you all know?
Yeah, figured you figured that out. And she freaks out and goes for a run, and then he chases after her, and we edit back into the cafe where the patrons have now realized, like, I think one of the police officers, Art, has come across Lou and obviously pulls back the clay and reveals his face.
That's right, yeah.
And reveals there's a body underneath that, and then everybody starts to freak out. So then Maxwell and the two drunks and the cops are chasing after Walter, who's chasing after Carla.
Yeah. Now, it's not a very long chase sequence, and this is the longest we spend outside of either the apartment or in the club.
But I thought it was well shot.
It was actually pretty well shot, seeing it's all nighttime, and it's good lighting and good shadows, and the black and white kind of really helps all this.
Yeah.
Kind of gives it that noir kind of finale to it.
But Carla manages to get away from Walter, and then she comes across to everybody else, and she's just like, he's gone that way, and Walter realizes that he's been caught, and so he races all the way home. Oh, he starts to hear the voices of the dead people, doesn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
They're chasing him. They're talking to him that he can't escape from them, even though he's turned them into clay. They're not really dead. You know, are they really there? Are they just voices in his head? You know, the spirits come back. But he races home, and he's overcome with fear,
guilt, I suppose.
Fear, or he has a bit of a confrontation with his landlady, who's obviously been freaking out because he'd brought Alice back, but she'd never seen the person leave, and he hangs himself.
Yeah, we get that revelation. It's the final shot as the whole troupe come into Walter's apartment, and it slowly pans to him, and it ends on a gag. It's a hanged man gag, but he's just like, he probably would have called it Hanged Man.
Yeah,
as his final art, because he covered himself in clay.
Yeah.
Now, Dick Miller said, like, obviously the budget was gone at this point.
Totally.
It was like there was supposed to have been a full clay sculpture of him, but he was like, it just didn't happen. So he is upset by the lack of budget in the film, and felt like film probably could have gone even further if it had a little bit more money behind it. But it's a great little gag to end it on. Like, I mean, we've watched his character arc within the last hour. We felt for him, and then turned on him, and then you still kind of feel sad for him at the end.
Yeah, I kind of did, even though I knew he had murdered a couple of people, on top of accidentally murdering some people. It was the point that he was willing on doing whatever it took to be accepted.
Yes,
you know, and
that's what it. I mean, the film is kind of like a meta commentary on the art world, the film industry, all of it.
Yeah,
that's why it's still relevant today. Great. It was
Yeah.
great. Favorite scenes though, Ian?
Oh, well, I mean, how do you not enjoy absolutely every scene with Dick Miller in? You know, like, I knew the guy could act, and I knew that, like, a lot of the stuff that I'd seen him in had just been B movies, but I needed something for him to showcase his talents, and so that's what this was. Like, when he's at home and in his apartment, like, when he burns the soup, bangs his head on the light, and then accidentally kills the cat, I was in fucking stitches. When he walks into the cafe wearing his new artistic stuff, and he's like the fucking cream of the crop, I was dying. When the two drunks are talking about him and call him a wigger.
What?
A wigger?
In 1959?
In 1959, and I'm like, and they mean it, because they've probably seen it, you know? Man, when that girl gave him the heroin, I'm not like I'm ever gonna try it, but like 1959, imagine just walking into a cafe and somebody goes, here's some heroin. You know?
1959, you know that shit was going to be clean.
Pure. Like the same with the coffee. I'm not drinking espresso, and it's probably the best fucking coffee shit you could fucking ever taste. Man, Walter's revelation of the titles of his work. You know, when they're just like, what's this one called? He's like, Murdered Man? I was like, oh my God, you can't even lie.
No.
You're just telling them to their face what it is. And they're like, oh, wow, that's amazing work. I'm like, that must stink. Like, he would have had to have heated the clay for the drive on the body. Just. I also just like some of the major dialogue. Whenever Walter was trying to quote or redo the lines in which he'd heard in the poem from the beginning, I just thought it was really eloquently put forward by him. And everybody was just in so shock that somebody this kind of simple could remember that stuff and make it brilliant. Yeah, thought it was ace.
Yeah. You okay, Frankie? That moment of Walter's got the knife through the wall and the cat stopped and he's like, you okay, Frankie? Oh, I died. I was laughing. So oh my, it starts. Next bit, the next thing that made me laugh is when Walter is just there and he's scrubbing the blood off of the policeman he's killed. And he's like, well, it was kind of in self-defense, and to think if I hadn't killed you, you would have killed me and you'd probably be down here scrubbing up my blood right now. So that was his internal logic of like,
yes.
I really liked and disliked Maxwell. I mean, he was so dominating in all the scenes he was in, but he was the largest actor there, the deepest voice as well. So
yeah,
like you kind of gravitate to him on the screen. But it's the moment where he turns and he just says, "I'm honored to know this man." And I was just like, "Whoa, you're in!" So I actually felt something. I was like, "It's nice that he's been taken under the wing now of this giant man, who's now gonna like take away the shackles and let him work creatively."
I love Maxwell's line where when they were doing the party for the showcase for Walter, all of the other beatniks are there like, how come we're not invited? Oh, because they don't want you to ruin the night for Walter. And Maxwell's all dressed up and they're like, how did you get an invite? He goes, I didn't. I'm just going to crash. I was like, that's the type of guy he would.
Yeah, absolutely.
He wants to make himself the center of attention. Yeah.
The music in the film is quite memorable as well.
Yes.
It definitely has a jazzy kind of sound to it, but it also enjoys the quirky flourishes during the moments in the film with the music as well. So kind of blended very well together. So the music was a good favourite.
Yeah.
And one last one to go out on, not a favourite.
Right.
But is that actress supposed to be looking at the director or the camera off screen? Is that 18 minutes into the film where everyone's applauding and looking at Walter?
Yeah.
But Carla actress is looking over to her side like, are we still rolling? Am I in shot? It's like, what are you doing, lady? Well, do you recommend A Bucket of Blood with Bits of Sick?
I do recommend this movie, but I can't just recommend it to any just film watcher. You know, it is a bit dated. It is kind of nostalgic for just Dick Miller. But if you're a fan of classic cinema, if you're a fan of Dick Miller and want to see where he started off, if you're a fan of Roger Corman and want to know like what he could do with like without lasers and silly stop motion special effects and people actually acting, this is it. I had fun, and it's really short, and it's just like Walter, it's so simple and artistic, and it's not great, but it's certainly better than fucking some of the shit I could list.
Yes, I'm recommending A Bucket of Blood. as this is a classic horror comedy from the legendary Roger Corman that holds up well today. Dick Miller is great in the lead role, making Walter Paisley humble, awkward, but relatable and endearing until his dance with madness, which is both tragic and comical. Charles Griffith's script is packed with little gems of dialogue, and Corman's direction is sharp, employing many low-budget techniques with some decent cinematography. The film's score is also very jazzy, yet it underscores the horror and the quirkiness very well. The film has great pacing, there is no filler, it's well edited, mostly bloodless, and very tame by today's standards, but the satirical breakdown of the pretentious beatnik art scene, it really works. The effects are cheap, but effective. It's got a charm to it, like most of this and Corman's other works share. So yeah, I think it's worth a watch, this one, even if only to see a young Dick Miller in a leading role. Inside every artist lurks a madman. Thanks for watching Off the Shelf Reviews.
Marvelous, darling, marvelous.
Man, like that was the greatest gas I ever heard.
Crazy, what did he say?
Didn't you hear him?
No, man, I'm too far out.